G'day and welcome to another episode. My name is Dave Shaw, the Geek, and today we are doing part 7 of the Lego Soundwave. Now, you can see that I have two bags here. I've had a look in the instructions. This one is feet. This one is everything else. So, I was thinking to myself, I could either do 2 more parts of this, in which case, if I only did this one, I would build the leg, build the foot, attach it, and then I'd do a fast-forwarded version of the second foot, attach that, and there'd probably be a 5-6 minute video, and then we leave the rest to the next time. But I think that would be too short a video, perhaps. So I thought, you know what, how about we do both of them? So this is all the remnants, not including his feet, for the rest of him. So I thought, you know what, let's do both of them. So this will be the last part for building, and then next episode we will do the transformation and size comparisons and all that good stuff. So I know this has been sort of a rush at the end, all because I've gone from posting every 2 weeks to posting every week. I was starting to come to the conclusion that by posting every 2 weeks, while the original intent was so that I would still have content to post, I think it was actually making things a bit boring and it wasn't very interesting to come back to. So you'd watch a week and then be like, oh, great, now I've got to wait 2 weeks to see the next part. And, you lose interest for the most part. Yes, I still got some views, but not a lot after the first episode. It has picked up since I've gone back to the weekly thing. So I think that's how I will do it. It just means, of course, when I run out of stuff, I run out of stuff. So we'll go from there. So lots of noises. We'll get to this one. Also, I will make sure that my hands are in actual focus, are actually in center, because I watched back the fast forward video for the last part for the legs and realized that most of the time my hands were up here and you couldn't really see much. So I'm hoping to fix that this time. All right, so we want 3 and long. And that's going to go onto there. Also, I don't know how recent the news is. I've only just found out about it because, what was I looking at? I was looking at some possible future orders. And I noticed that they are doing MPG. Oh, I can't remember it's a recolor of MP13 Soundwave. So they're redoing Soundwave for the MPG line. Yes, the mold's great. It's perfect. There's no improvements they needed. They've changed the color a little bit. They made it a bit brighter and whatnot. And I think they've taken away a little bit of silverness and made sort of Laserbeak's back a little grayer from what I remember seeing of the pictures. But if they are going to do that, and I think, which one was it? One of the Optimuses looked very much like MP1 when I saw it. I'm hoping if they're going to do that, then oh God, trying to keep that together. If they're going to do that and bring some of the MPs back like that, there's several looking things, they need to at least bring back, in my honest opinion, MP9, which was Rodimus. They need to reissue their Rodimus that way. I would so buy that because I do need a proper Rodimus. And I would love it if they would do MP35, which is their grapple. I got the Inferno, which I did a long while back. But I never got the grapple, and I have not liked any of the grapples that they have released for X-Trans bots or anything like that. Obviously we haven't got fans toys yet. But yeah, if they're going to do that and bring back older ones and recolor them or improve their colors, please do an MP09 and please do just look weird that and redo MP35 because I so missed out on 35. So yeah, just a little observation. So, alright, so there's that. Flat dark grey. Hang on, how's that going to work? What have I missed? Too busy rambling, not enough paying attention. I know I don't have hay fever. The doctors have told me so when I got last tested for allergies, but holy jeez, you can't tell me the flowers are not affecting my nostrils. Okay, how the hell does this work? So, this twice, if I can get in there. 1, 2, roundy ball things. Looks like all the way back. And then half thingies. Get on there. Going this away. This away. Yep, I did it again. I was too high to the top of the camera. Where's the other one? Sorry about that. Sometimes I get too focused on what I'm doing and don't actually position my hands properly. So there's that. And then we go this way. Okay, or does it just sit over that? Surely it doesn't just sit over that. Oh. I think it sits there, but we're about to do something that'll hold it actually in place. So we take these and put that through. It should lock one side in. I think they're the same size. I'm going to put the wrong one in and then find out I'm stuck. That goes in there. Alright, now we're doing toes. So 1, and then we want 3 downward. 1, 2, and 3, along with a blue. It's showing me this corner. And then that sits on there, which I suppose does actually make sense. Alright, then we want another flat grey to go over here, and 2 flat greys there, and then the rubbers to go on here to fill his feet out. I'll just push it away for a moment. And it's actually showing me this while he's inside his leg. So I'm just looking the way it goes. And I'm try standing him up. So these are going to actually go into the grooves here. Turn that light on so you can see a little better. So balls are going to go into here. I'm not sure if it'd be easier to do with hitting his leg or not. So I might try extending his shin. Just bring that back. Just try and position him a little awkwardly. And then 1. Just trying to find somewhere to put my finger so I can get some leverage. 2. And there's his foot, obviously a little wonky. And that just folds back in there. And then this comes up here, which is pretty cool. Alright, we'll put him to the side. And we'll do the other one a little bit faster this time, a little hyper speed, and go from there. So yes, we have another foot done. Push that out of the way to give us a bit of room. And I think I'll do the same thing as I did last time. I'll get that foot out as far as it'll go. I'll just use his hip joint there to give me a bit of extra room so I can fit my hand. And 1, 2, I think I got them both. Excellent. And of course, that's not going to work if only one leg's out. I was going to say it's a bit lopsided, but it's more along the case of case of how I had his hips. So he's looking good, looking real good. All right, let's get on to bag 12 and finish some things off. And ironically, it's actually telling us to start by getting his feet how we have it. So I'm going to have to, I should have fiddled with the camera first. So I'll have to have a look at the instruction manuals for Prime and Bumblebee, since they're the only other ones that obviously were done, and have a look at how the arms and legs were done. Because I know when I built Prime, I had restrictions. Beg my pardon. Restrictions on my video allotment to 50 minutes because I don't think I've been doing it for very long. And of course, nowadays I have full time because Google, or YouTube I should say, was kind enough to say, yeah, we'll give you full access to things. So that gave me my full access on the channel. Anyway, but I'm pretty sure, and like I said, I have to look at the instructions, or at least go back to the old videos. And I'm pretty sure we built both lower legs, both upper legs, both arms, both shoulders. Soundwave, I would want to say, is the first one that threw us a curveball by having a portion of the leg into separate bags instead of the one bag. So, like I said, I'll have to have a look into that. And we do have a lock here. And there's actually a nice little feature that I actually think is pretty clever when we get to it. All right, we have a lot of blue. And I'm just trying to find the first part. So here, right angle goes on there. Apparently we should just do 2 of those. Where's the other one? So that there, and 2 yellows. Oops, no, I'm skipping a step somewhere. The blues do not help me actually seeing things sometimes. So it goes up to under. So there's an angled piece, not that one. That's why I just picked up this piece here. So, because the way it looks, I thought it was pointing that way, but it's pointing forward. Actually makes a lot more sense, honestly. So there. Then we had just this thick empty piece, which I suppose does theoretically save on the parts counts, I guess. And I've skipped to step 2. Wait, how's that go? Okay, so we want, apparently, should be a black piece that goes here. It looks like blue squares. So one here and one here, and then a flat 2 and a 1. So just trying to figure out how that attaches. Okay, so flat 2 goes there, and then blue ones go there. And there. And ironically, my camera is making, at least from my viewpoint, brighter than it actually is, but never mind. So that goes on there again. Now we're just building a giant stack of cubes. So we want 10. So I'm assuming 5 each. If I can get it on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Congratulations to me. Apparently I went to school and learned to count to 5. 3, 4, and 5. Like so. I was going to say, surely that's not one piece. So we bring in the blue Supermans. One goes there. And one goes here. Oops. With another couple of ones. So one there. One there. And then we want a flat blue. And 2 angled flat blues. Which that was the wrong way around. One there. Nice. I was going to say, I swear I spotted the other one too. And one there. Alright, now we play attach. Ugh. And I have already discovered that his thighs don't work how you think they would. So I'm going to try using his knees. I'm going to fold his feet away so I can get a bit more of a flat surface. Hopefully not drop him on his face, even though we haven't built that yet. Put the light on. So this, nope. This is going to go onto here. So that piece there has me a little confused. So let me just, yeah, that's the right one. Maybe it holds his gun, or maybe it's a transformation connection. Alright, so just gonna, I don't know, follow it that way. And once again, it's just a matter of finding where to put fingers. There we go. I think I got it. There we go. So we got something of a ratchet joint in his back piece. So I'm guessing that goes up like that and holds like that. All right. Soundwave, you can just sit on your knees because apparently your knees are thick enough that it actually holds you pretty sturdily on your knees. Although from this angle, it does look a bit funny how his arms look so small. Anyway, now we have what I think is actually quite a fun piece. So take one of these, take 2 seats. I'm sure they've probably, somebody's come up with an alternative way of doing this. I know they did with Prime. I didn't bother looking into Bumblebee. There we go, that's what I want. So that. Then we want a blue with a giant ball. That's going to go in there with another black single. Where are you hiding? Nope. There it is. That's going to go here. And then we want a grey and a darker grey with a grippy thing. If it is a dark grey with a grippy thing. Like that. And that's going to go this way. Try and keep things nice and straight. The page got a little bit too close to where he's sitting. Alright, so we want a 1 seat. That one? Nope. Where are you? There you are. So 1 seat with a black. I'm trying to figure out how this works. Alright, so we want this one? Well, there's no darker grey ones, I think, here. So that goes on there. Okay, now I've noticed how this works. So we need a black seat. So that goes on there. Another of these go through there. Then we get a white that goes through there. Trying to figure out which way it sits. And then that goes onto there, like so. Then we want a 2. Trying to get rid of, I was going to say get rid of, more like move aside some of these other ones. There we go. So 2, 1, and then that weird angled 1 that I said I didn't need. So there, and then a ramp, and I need 2 of these. So another 2, another 1, another weird. You can only put these one way. So that there, and another ramp. And then these go on the side of here, which now that actual little bump that I was worried about, this one here, actually fits over there. Alright, now we need what basically we use for Laserbeak's head. We want 2 of those. I'm assuming they were shoes or something in another set. 2 of those. 1 blue. A black with a hole in it. And an angled blue. I'm just trying to figure out which way it's going. I think this way. And I'm trying to figure out how that goes on. And I've just realized I put these in the wrong spot. I think. Yes, I have. So they're supposed to come down here, and once again, it goes over that piece there. Alright, so it goes over that. So then this goes this way. Right, and then we want this one. Just trying to figure out which way this is going. So it's got to go up. So there, I'm guessing. Yep. One that side. And I suppose the other one, there it is. That side. So that's actually pretty damn cool. We actually want a grey with a angle piece. Still so far, no more trivia. I want to say Prime got the most trivia, and that actually has a gripper on it, so I guess that holds it. I wouldn't think it actually moves. I think it just keeps it solid. All right, so depending on you personally, do you want a G1 or do you want a toy version? So just having a look at how it actually sets up. I'll try showing both of them off, but I'll build the red and then I'll show off the green differently. I suppose you could do half and half, couldn't you? If you really wanted to. So there you go there. Then we have our mouth plate piece. Apparently these black things are going to go on the back end with this way. And we need another one. It's going to go there. That's going to clip onto the bottom of that piece there. And that seems a little bit big. That's the same one. I don't know. That seems to cover his eyes a lot. So I don't know how I feel about that unless there is another mouthpiece. No, that's the same one. I don't know. That just seems a bit excessive. No. Just had a quick look at the front page, and yeah, it's probably right. If you want it better, you probably have to shave some of this off. I am definitely not skilled for that sort of thing. Then we want... I'm just trying to figure out how this is angled. So... I would say that way, but I think I might be wrong. So this way? Yeah. No, am I right or am I wrong? Well, that's not very secure, so I'm definitely going to say it's this way. All right, and then we want two angled blues, one down and one up. Probably should put the up one in first. And then we put the other one on the other side. So that way. And then we have another up. We'll do the up first this way, so it actually is easier in. And we have a if I can find the other down. Where are you? There you are. And down. So there is Soundwave's head with a G1 cartoon accurate look. Or I'm just trying to see how actually easy this is. Oh well, you can stay attached there. That'll save me slight steps. Alright, so actually probably take these side bits off. Yeah, they're all the same size, so it ain't going to make much difference, but take one off. And like I said, you could probably do one of each if you really wanted to. One there. And one there. And we'll put back on our side pieces. Like so. And of course, yeah, I think that would screw up the head, honestly, and show too much image of the eyes. So there is your focus. There is your toy accurate eyes, which I think that's actually a pretty damn clever idea. I don't know. Maybe they could have done something similar with Prime and have the actual fully red instead of having the toy accurate grey lines, but each their own, I guess. So, whoops. But I'm going to stick with the cartoon accurate eyes, so these will be put away in my little storage for later, although we have 3 of them, so I guess it gives you 1 set of spares. So put you back, put you back. I'll stop saying that now because it's going to get really annoying. Also, I just realized the angle of these blue pieces actually lines up with that, so That's pretty good. And that fits real nicely over the eyes, even though I think the eyes are not quite visible enough. All right, let's bring him back in again. Of course, that. Take our ball joint, take our head joint, and try to grip it in a way that's not going to go away from me. And there is that, and I'm assuming somehow that's going to collapse a bit, and it does. So you bring this down, you lift that ball joint a bit, and of course you probably have to fiddle with that backpack, and that actually brings his head flat, which sort of gives him joints. Actually reminds you of Hound, of MP Hound. So there we go. Just looking at how much time's on this, we'll just keep going. We'll keep going. All right, Soundwave, I'll put you over for the time being. Try not to knock you off. All right, drop the camera again. And I'm seeing that black flat piece, and I know I'm going to have to do a display stand. So hopefully I do it the right way around. Anyway, so 1, 2, and 3. Once again, I learned to count. Yippee. So this is going to be his shoulder launcher. So we want those. We want 2. All right, now this is sort of fast firing on me a little bit. So these 2, flat blue, just to put that to the side. Oh, apparently we need to do that 2. Here's the other one. So we need 2 of these. It tells me 1, but then it says in the next instruction 2. So we want that, and we want these gray bits with the plus signs pointing out, like so. We take this that we just built, and that goes this way. We grab 2 curved pieces, one that goes here, one that goes here. All right, now honestly, this little next step is making me feel about those knockoff Constructicon wannabes. So those like that. How many of those big blue ones do we need? Just 1. Okay. I'm just having a look to see if there's any difference, and it looks like they're all the same. So obviously probably part of it's going to be part of the gun. All right, so we take a red and slip that through, whoops, and not actually move everything else. And then trying to figure out which angle it goes. All right, so we want the empty bit at the back and the full part at the front. And I don't want to lie, that's giving me Galvatron feelings. All right, so then we take another of these. We take a tall gray and put it the inside, and then try to figure out where things click in. Then we put did I put it the wrong way? No, I put it the right way, yeah. That goes to there. This apparently goes on top, like so. Then we put a gray and this piece here. Try to get them lined up first. Then I put that in and try to line those up. There we go. And then we take that and we plug that on. Oops. Or did that just fall off? I think that just fell off. Let's go have a look to see how this is angled. Yeah, that's the right way. Actually, I forgot to put something on here. we need a flat blue to go on there, and then that's going to go over and in like that, and now we've got a knockoff fusion cannon. Alright, so then we are going with it looks like a black, but it's grey. I don't think this really matters which way. So that goes on there, then a red, then a black. I'm assuming this is all going to compress down anyway. And then that goes through that hole we built, like so. And then I'm a bit confused. That goes there, that goes there. There's a... Oh, that's what it is. So I'm just looking at this. Here's the instructions. So I'm looking at this, I'm going, where the hell's that piece? That's actually the top of Soundwave's head. I will eventually stop fiddling with this. So we take this and that goes onto there. So this is definitely going to be a parts forming part for Soundwave's shoulder. So there's that. Drop the camera again. Give everyone motion sickness. Alright, we're going to do his gun. So, 2 greys. And we want another flat-ish blue and a blue nubbin. And once again, that's going to go in the back of here, and hopefully I'm not going to knock it off this time. Well, thankfully I'll be holding it because it's telling me to put a yellow one in this time. Right, this time it's not popping off. Alright, we put another one, which is, once again, has a big old grey piece inside it. Get in there, like so. Now I'm assuming that's going to tab into these holes. So slide that down. And I felt that popping against that. And then we have a weird angle thingy. I'm just trying to figure out which hole it's telling me to actually put it through. Middle one apparently. Because if you can see, 1, 2, 3, technically 4. So we're going to put it through the middle. And then we have a black piece, which I'm assuming is going to be part of the handle. That's going to come down. Then we put another one on. Looks like 4 hands, honestly. Like so. Apparently that's how it's going to look, according to what the instructions is telling me. That book is slowly traveling backwards. And I think I'm actually slowly traveling to the right, because I've got it obviously closer to the wall. Alright, so we take this, we take this, we put this back together again. We take this, we put that together. We take another this, we take another this, and put them in top and fiddle around till you find where it will tab in, and we put that together, like so. I was going to say, if that's going to compress any further, we are going to need some serious work. Alright, this one, and we want that through the middle. We want greys on the side. 1 and 2. And then we want, not that one, this one that goes on here. And it's showing the little slitty bit at the top, so I will put the little slitty bit at the top. And put another grey in top of it, or at least try to. There we go. Then we have angled greys. I suppose if you really wanted to, you could use the yellows for this, or a yellow and red. Up to you. Let me put that on the end. And we put this grey bit in. We put this on the back and put the red in. And obviously you can press the grey until it won't go any further because it'll hit that black piece. Like so. And then we put some more grey pieces in. So 1 and 2. We want this piece and another couple of greys. So plug that in there. Plug that in there. I'm just trying to figure out which way that's going. I want to say this way. Just probably going to keep that from going anywhere. And then we want one of these on there. Then we take our gun, slip that on there, and oh yeah, it actually holds really securely. So you don't have to worry about spinning too much. Alright, we'll put that off to the side. We're almost done. Alright, let me just have a quick look at this. I am going to add one last sticker, which will hopefully be the right way up. So I was just thinking something funny to myself. How do you tell when something goes from being just a toy to a collective thing? The tweezers comes out. Alright, so we take these and we pop one that way and pop one that way. My camera is way too low at this point. I'm going to start cutting out part of the video. There's that. Then we want this with a couple of 4 blacks, like so. That's going to go on to there, which of course we have our nice little thing already. And then we want a long bit of black, like so. Although I'm not entirely a fan of this, so I'm just, oh yeah, I thought that it was weird that there was a giant gap there, but 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, we want that flat piece in there to fill it out. Then we want this flat piece in the middle, and then these individual ones on the end. And I suppose if you really wanted to, that's where you can store your spare eyes. And that is, oh, that's what it's for. Oh, that's clever. That's really clever. Hang on. So here's our mini Soundwave, and that can just tab onto there. And I was just looking at, and I think I've actually put the alternative disc, which of course is Laserbeak. You could probably actually pop this off and put it there and put this in your storage if you really wanted to. That way you've actually got them always there, because the instructions just simply has it sort of sitting in front. So there we go. Give me half a second. And there is Soundwave complete. Now, I'm not going to go into this in this video. I will get into it when we do the transformation video. But he does have some issues. I've actually had to modify something in the back of his legs that I will go into when we get into doing the articulation and everything. But just know he can be a bit of a leaner. It's literally taken me 10 minutes to get him to stand decently straight. He actually has, and I'll get into it more later, but he does have articulation in his ankles. He does actually have ankle tilt, but I wouldn't per chance using them But we will get to that in the next video. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. I promise you it will not hurt my feelings. Subscribe, ring that bell, leave me a comment. And apart from that, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.